What's up guys, Nax Tech here, and this video is going to be on my full review of my iPad 4th generation. So I'm going to go ahead and start this video off by saying the differences between this and the 3rd generation and if you should upgrade. So they made no differences to the screen, it's still the same screen. So you've still got the 2048 by 1536 264 ppi Retina display that you have on the 3rd gen on the 4th gen. Still has 1GB of RAM inside the 4th gen, same as the 3rd gen. The differences begin with the front-facing camera. On the 3rd generation, you've got a 0.3 megapixel VGA front-facing camera, which, let's be honest, sucked. Okay, I don't even know why they bothered with it. On the iPad 4, they went ahead and put on a modest 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera that can shoot 720p at 30 frames per second. This is a lot better for stuff like FaceTime if you're into that sort of thing, so that's awesome. Now, another big upgrade is to the CPU and GPU, and the reason they did this is because the iPad 3rd generation seemed to have a few problems when it came to pushing the amount of pixels that are on this beast. So they upgraded from a dual-core 1 GHz to a dual-core 1.4 GHz. They also went ahead and upgraded the GPU to help push the amount of pixels that it needs to. And from my tests, it is very, very good. The upgrade in terms of GPU is much better. It's a lot stronger in terms of its performance in games, which is fantastic if you're into games. Now, to the question, is it worth the upgrade if you're on a 3rd gen? Well, you've got to ask yourself the question, do you do a lot of gaming? Because if you do, and you really want a device just for gaming, I would suggest the upgrade, because frame rates in these games are buttery smooth compared to the not so smooth ones of the iPad 3rd generation. Not to say the iPad 3rd generation is bad, but this is a whole different level in terms of smoothness on gaming. If you're sitting there with your iPad 3rd generation and you don't do the tablet you don't use it for a lot of gaming, I would suggest not upgrading. I don't think it's worth it. It's pretty much exactly the same tablet with a few little upgrades. It's kind of annoying they even released it, to be honest. So yeah, let me go ahead and jump into Geekbench here, and you can see I am running the iPad 4th generation, in case you thought I was lying. You can see there the Apple A6 at 1.4 GHz, and the memory is still 1 gig. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the browser here, and you can see I've actually already run a SunSpider that scored 930, which isn't the best, actually. My Nexus 10 scores quite a bit lower, and lower is better in this test. So I'm going to go ahead and run this again, and I'll skip to the end so you can see the results. Okay, and we're back, guys, and you can see this time it scored 841. So better than my last test of 950 or whatever it was, but still not quite as low as I've seen my Nexus 10. Saying that, it's not all about JavaScript, because the iPad 4 was a hair quicker in pretty much every test I did than my Nexus 10. So yeah, the web performance as always is very, very good. I'm not going to really go into that because there's not much point. Let me go ahead and run Geekbench for you. This is a very CPU intensive benchmark, if I can hit the down button. And again, guys, I'll skip to the end. And we're back, guys, and you can see it gets a score of 1789. That's pretty good for a CPU score there. It's not the best. My Nexus 10 scores something about 2600, so about 1,000 more points than my iPad 4. But you know, they're just numbers. It's very smooth, as you can see, and the performance is excellent. Let me go ahead and go on to gaming. I'm just going to show you a few games here. Try Grand Theft Auto Vice City, because at the moment it is my favourite game. Go ahead and zoom in here for you. And it's upside down. There we go. And damn, that's loud. Let's turn that down a bit. There it is. Okay. You can get this from the App Store, by the way. It's like $2.99 if you're in the UK, $4.99 if you're in America. Vice City, this was such a good game. And here we go, let's check out the performance here. So it looks great on this display. 4:3 I think really works well with games, and the palette of the iPad 4th generation, the screen is is very warm. It's a warm display, and what that means is sometimes you can get a kind of yellowy tint to your screen. It's not just the glue, it is actually the screen. But what it means is very rich colors and sometimes deeper colors. So it's kind of a trade-off there. Let me steal this car. Everything looks great, it pops, everything's super sharp as well. And you can see here the performance. Oh god, the performance here is brilliant. I haven't seen any frame drops whatsoever. You can see as the camera spins around there, it handled it easily. And even that spin there, it didn't slow down one bit. So you can see what I mean by saying the GPU on the iPad 4 is just so much better than the iPad 3. It can really handle the amount of pixels it's asking it to push. So very, very decent performance here. I'm not going to go ahead and play all this because I've kind of done gaming a lot on my different reviews. I'm not going to go ahead and check out the other games either because I've done gaming reviews and comparisons. So if you want them, you have to go ahead and check them out. I'm not going to go ahead and run a GL benchmark because it's pretty damn long. But what I can tell you about GL benchmark is it's the top. The iPad GPU is at the very top of the list out of everything by quite a some way as well. I can tell you in one test that I always remember, the off-screen classic HD, my Nexus 10 scores 88 frames per second, and this is off-screen as well, so it's a fair test. 88 compared to the iPad 4th generation scores 133, so quite a massive difference in terms of frames there. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it. Everything else is just iOS 6 based, I'm not going to go into that. It's very nice. It's really, really nice in terms of gaming, actually, I should say. Everything else, I think it's pretty standard, and I wouldn't upgrade from the 3rd generation. The screen's the same, the camera's okay, but I don't use the front-facing camera anyway. But for gaming, this is an absolute beast. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'll see you later.